Welcome to Now, Near, and the Future with Nyla Meir and Quinn Harrington. A podcast that's part crystal ball, part microscope, and part rocket ship.
Welcome to Now, Near, and the Future. I'm Quinn Harrington.
And I'm Nyla Meir. Today we've got two guests and a story that starts with a question asked in the back row of a movie theater.
9 years ago, almost to the day, and now it's a 10-year-old film festival, a city film office partnership, and a couple who just represented Jacksonville on an international stage. We'll get into all of it.
Yep. Adam and Monique Madrid, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
For having us.
No
We
worries.
appreciate it. Yes.
Thank you for coming. And we're going to do a proper introductions in a few minutes. But first, a confession from Quinn. Most of her work doesn't happen here in Jacksonville. Right, Quinn?
Yeah, unfortunately guilty. My company, Harrington Design Company, has been in Jacksonville for 25 years. In fact, this is our 25th anniversary. And we've produced dozens and dozens of videos and documentaries, short films, things of that nature. But it's primarily for like global and national companies like Nielsen. So, you know, the TV ratings people. We've been working with them for about 15 years. We have done some productions here in Jacksonville, shooting here locally, and we always enjoy that when we can do that. You know, because I love this city, and we haven't done really enough work for the local regional companies here in town. So today's a little selfish. I want to know how someone like me actually plugs in.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, you want to?
I just say you got to go outside. That's the first thing. I think one of the biggest ways to get to know the community is actually going to their events or going to the companies, getting to know them, and then like seeing how you can organically fit into their sphere. That's just, I mean, it's cliche, but that's what kind of works in Jacksonville. Everybody's got to, tune into what the other person is doing. And the more we do it, the more we get familiar and we're talking about each other, and then it grows because now I want you to meet this person. Same with us. Like we got to meet you through awesome people. So yeah.
Very cool. Well, before we go deeper, let's go around the room, shall we, Nyla?
Let's do it.
Around the room.
So what's on everyone's mind that has nothing to do with the job title? And I will go ahead and go first. Obviously, it's summer in Florida, and it's hot as Hades. It's humid. It is almost insufferable. But one fun thing that happened recently, and I don't know if you heard about it or were there, but Tiger Lily, which is a local production company here in Jacksonville, threw like their first social at this new place called the LOL JAX.
Yep.
And it was totally awesome. I felt like this is what a big city should be doing, bringing our community together, and rather than fighting each other and stabbing each other in the back, we're actually supporting one another. And that gives me a lot of encouragement for what's going on in Jacksonville. How about you, Nyla?
Well, I'm not into film. I get films made, but I'm in communications and sustainability. So I haven't been doing anything around that. This week was all about studying because I was doing a change management course, Quinn, which I hadn't prepared for, but I passed. So that's all
Yay!
good. Yes.
Awesome.
So I'm now certified, and that's the
Nice,
one thing
nice.
I did.
Excellent. How
What
about
about
you
you?
guys, Adam and Monique?
Oh, okay. My thing is, without the job title, I just been kind of like wanting to. I feel like I want to catch up on movies that I'm missing out on. And again,
Yeah.
even though like I'm talking about like movies that are in theaters, I miss that. I miss going there on a regular basis. It's like I've been really busy with a lot of things going on here on my end, but I'm hearing about like the movie Obsession. I'm hearing about Back Rooms. I'm hearing about a lot of these independent movies that are making a big, statement in the theaters. So, I kind of want to check those out, and I feel like I'm missing out a little bit on that. But other than that, no, that's what. And also, I think we just missed each other, by the way, Quinn, at the block at that networking event, because I was there. Yeah, I was there as well, and I guess we must missed each other. But I was there.
It was very crowded. So.
Oh yeah, yes, it was awesome.
And I was just like, I know Varick and Andrew Fallon and a few others, but I'm not as plugged into the film community as I used to be. I know I actually helped out with some film festival probably 10 years ago. It used to be at the Five Points Theater, but it was kind of like an Oscar party, and I think that's what it was. But definitely would like to get engaged again.
Okay, absolutely. Definitely.
Monique, were you doing something different?
Yeah, for me, summertime, there's a lot of, like a lot of my friends that have kiddos, they're, summer, they're doing activities, so they're kind of wanting to go outside and spend time, but then they also want to get away with their kiddos too, so, because they're in the house for so long. So being really, I don't have any kids, but just being really intentional with my friends that I'm dear and near with, like I went out with a girlfriend the other day and I was like, bring the kiddo along. It's all good. We'll eat. And I included them on the conversation. And so they felt a part of the girlfriends group. So really just trying to make time, because we all get so busy with our lives, and summer is a season of relaxation, usually because it's so hot, you can't do anything still, but just it's a time to relax. So I really want to be intentional with making time for my day one friends. So putting people on the calendar and really sticking to that appointment has been something on my heart that I want to do better at.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so now is the perfect time to properly introduce our guests. Adam Madrid is the film production coordinator for the City of Jacksonville Film and Television Office, a director and editor at Argyle Forest Films, and the city producer for the Jacksonville 48-Hour Film Project. He was named an Art Innovator of the Year by the Cultural Council of Greater Jacksonville, and his first independent feature, Let Me Be Corey, is out this year. It must be very exciting for you.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's been a long time coming on this one here, so I'm very happy that it's finally happening. So.
Awesome.
Yes, and let's not forget Monique. Monique Madrid is the festival director of, and I'm going to say it right, LOL JAX Film.
You got it.
Not LOL.
Laugh out loud and love our our locals. Yes.
Yep.
I like that. So you are the festival director of LOL JAX Film Festival, which you and Adam co-created, and it's nearly been 10 years. We're going to hear more about this. She's a Jacksonville Business Journal 40 under 40 honorary, and Woman of Influence. And the festival itself was just named Small Business of the Year by the Cultural Council of Greater Jacksonville. Good
So
stuff.
the festival itself got the award?
Yeah, the festival itself.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
I got the Small Business of the Year award from the Cultural Council in 2005.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Look at that.
Yeah, here it is.
Oh, that's so pretty. And they're different every year.
I know.
It's so gorgeous.
This is an amazing artist.
That's awesome. Yes.
Proudly display that. Have I gotten any awards since then? No, but I'll rest on that laurel. And together, you two represented Jacksonville at the 48-Hour Film Festival's Project International Festival in Portugal. So that must have been a blast.
Yeah, I mean that was an amazing time. And anytime that we get to go outside of Jacksonville, we wear our Jacksonville hat proudly, and just kind of talk about what's going on in our city. That gives us an opportunity. And I say this to everyone too that works in a film or anything that's doing in the film community. If they have an opportunity to have their movie screened outside of Jacksonville, like whether it's Toronto International Film Festival or wherever, That's an opportunity to talk about Jacksonville. It's a lot of times people are just like, oh, where are you from? And, oh, where was this movie made? And, then that you can have an opportunity to, discuss what Jacksonville is all about and, have that opportunity. So that's what's great about going to Filmapalooza is we get to meet all these amazing filmmakers from all over the world, and they get to see one of the films that won to see Jacksonville in its glory, and so it's great to see those films, but also see all these amazing films from all over the world and just be inspired by those. So.
Yeah, that's glad you're representing our fair city here. Where should people find LOL JAX, the 48-hour film project, and Let Me Be Corey on social or the web or whatever?
I'll start. Well, with LOL JAX, it's at loljax.com. And so it's a website, and it has all the handles on there to where you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. And then, of course, with the 48-hour film project, it's 48hourfilm.com/Jacksonville. And it'll take you directly to the Jacksonville, Florida chapter, and it'll tell you about registering your team, all our events, whether you want to come to our meet and greets that are free to just learn more about it, our screenings. It just gives you a lot about the process as well too. So it really gets you informed, so you know what you're getting into, because it is a ride with the 48.
Yeah.
So just for people who don't understand what the 48-hour film festival.
Please.
I mean, LOL JAX is fairly, it's comedy shorts essentially, but the 48-hour film approach is pretty unique.
Yeah. So with LOL, I try to keep it very simple and calm and fun and upbeat. With 48, I say you're going to have every emotion that full weekend. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to be hungry, you're going to, have to problem solve in real time, but at the end, you're a stronger filmmaker. So what do I mean by that? The 48-hour film project is one of the largest, oldest contests around the world, to where you sign up your team to make a film in 48 hours. So on a Friday night, you're going to learn what genre. They're going to throw a line, a character, and a prop that you must have in that film, and then they make you race to go make a film from start to finish in 48 hours. You turn it in on a Sunday night, and if it's on time, it goes on to be judged, and you see if you become a winner and win other awards at our screenings. If it's late, you can always get audience choice. So, you still get to come to the party and play, but you get audience choice as the option. But it's a great time. And then, of course, like we said before, the winner will go on to represent our fair city and compete against other cities that won their city at Filmapalooza.
Nice. Wow.
I don't even know if I could edit a film in 48 hours, much less, write, stage, decorate, produce, all that. That's, I mean, no, you don't do it by yourself. You have a team of people.
What? Believe it or not, we've had one person 1 year do it as a one-man band, and they said they'll never do it again that way. But they turned in a film. It was late, but it was well received by the audience, and they gained the respect. So it's a very rare thing. And then the other thing I would say is just make sure whoever your team is, it's people you really are okay with being in a bunker with for 48 hours, sleep deprived. Like, they're going to see all of you, right?
Yeah.
And be okay with that on the other side, for sure.
Excellent. So let's move into the now sections, shall we?
Now.
I want to start exactly where I live, which is a little uncomfortable to admit. And as I mentioned, having produced so much of this video content outside of Jacksonville, like, it gets edited here, but in terms of shooting and things like that, it's usually going to be in like New York, Chicago, or San Fran, or London, or wherever. So selfishly, how does a company like mine actually use what the film and television office offers?
Yeah, so I mean, in regards to that, I know there's like film incentives and that are out there in regards to if you're making a commercial or a TV show or a movie. But again, they're just depending on like how much are how much is the budget in regards to that. There's right now in Jacksonville, there's like if say for instance like it's a film that comes in here, an independent feature film. It's going to be at like $400,000 is where they qualify for 15% rebate, and then if it goes up to $1 million, then it goes up to 20%. And right now this is just a city incentive. This isn't a state incentive, which unfortunately we don't have right now at the moment, which other states do, like Georgia and Louisiana and Carolinas. There's other places where those states have a program in place. Unfortunately, Florida right now does not. But you have cities like Jacksonville, Tampa, Orlando, and Miami, Fort Lauderdale they do have their own city incentives at this current time. So we're hopefully waiting to hear word and things start looking better here down the road to get state film incentives back. Now, in regards to like local productions, I know like we talked about Tiger Lily here just recently. And I know Tiger Lily, they're the ones that actually took advantage of incentive to where they were working on a production here, and then they ended up using an incentive a couple years back. But I think what's happening now is like we're trying to for the city to start seeing what other options we can do to, possibly lower down the threshold, in regards to. Like I said, other productions, that may not qualify for that higher, budget. To like, if there's a lower budget, to be like, let's see if we can work with them, work with these production companies to offer those rebates back. And then in regards to crew, there's, we got a lot of crew here in Jacksonville, a lot of talent in our city. They can always go to filmjax.com, go to the production guide, and they'll be able to find if they're looking for an editor, if they're looking for some cinematographer, director, producer, craft services, makeup, it's all there, and it's all people in Jacksonville, so they get an opportunity to be hired by local crew. That's just an opportunity for people to take advantage of as well. But there's just a lot of options there. But also there, just realistically, it's limited as well. We'd love to have where there's all these amazing incentives in place, and we can just go ahead and take advantage of it. Let's just bring more productions here. But right now, it seems like it's a lot of very independent of, a lot of people doing it on their own, like doing it as like, hey, hey, I'm going to make it no matter what. There's a lot of people that have that mindset. It's like, yes, I may not qualify for this incentive, but I'm still going to make my movie, or I'm still going to make my music video. I'm still going to make this commercial. And they may not qualify for the incentive, but they still make it. Yeah,
400,000 is pretty high
budget
definitely. For a lot of, like, ours are like in the sub 50,000 range. Right. So, which I think are still substantial productions.
No, absolutely, absolutely are. And I think that's discussions that are being had being made right now, like in regards to the film office is trying to see what other options, other opportunities that can be provided for, again, budgets of that range, because it just seems like, hey, there's people that wanting to spend money here in Jacksonville. And yes, it's not the $400,000 range, which is very high, or even commercials, something like that. But there's a lot of them that that we want to try to work with and try to bring more productions here, and they can take advantage of the incentives. So yeah,
very good. What's the most common misconception companies have about filming in Jacksonville? The thing they assume is true that is not true.
That's a good question.
That's a good question. You know what? I think that one there is the misconception is,
what about locations?
Locations, I guess. Yeah, I guess I guess I feel like maybe the misconception is it's hard to film in Jacksonville, or it's not. Like it's hard to get permits in Jacksonville. I think because they've had a lot of encounters with other cities outside of Jacksonville, and I think that's what it is. Like, I don't want to get a permit because it's too expensive, or it's going to be too much work. And that's actually a misconception, because permits are free in Jacksonville, film permits, and also as long as you have a certificate of insurance, a COI, then you're fine. You get a free permit. And we tell people, if you got a film permit request, normally it's about 10 business days that we request, but we've had some film permits that turned over in about 24 hours.
Wow.
And that's
Okay,
unheard
so
of.
that's two things I didn't know about, that permits are
Yeah,
free.
Because a lot of times, a lot of people do take film permits, and the reason why sometimes it takes longer is because some people are submitting permits for the first time ever, and
Right.
they're not aware of like a lot of things they have to fill out, and then we just as a film office have to just like here we give them a sample of like just fill in like here's how you fill in the film permit or the COI, the certificate of insurance, to make sure everything's covered, so then when we send it to risk management and we send it to other people to get approval, that it's instantly approved and there's no issue, and then we can go ahead and give you that permit issued immediately. So
Does does the film office offer like grants or anything like that?
yes, for the first time ever, we have these Jacksonville Fostering Filmmaking Grants. Then these are for independent feature filmmakers here in Jacksonville. This has never been done before, so this is year 2 that just happened recently. We awarded so far 6 have been awarded. 3 from 2024, 3 from 2025, and then we're looking to try to do it this year. Obviously, depending on the city budget when it gets announced and everything like that. So, this has been something that's been a very positive impact in Jacksonville, especially when a big thing is return on investment. When you offer a filmmaker $10,000, sometimes people are just like, oh, $10,000 really isn't a lot for a independent feature film, but I say yes. I mean, obviously, we want to probably do a little bit more than 10,000, but for now, it's more like a test pilot. Hey, right. And it's like, all right, well, we're gonna give you $10,000, and for this, we're gonna see how this goes, because then it can possibly increase the show what the return is on. So, like right now, like take for instance, there was one movie that was filmed here that was $100,000 budget, and they said if they had a $10,000 grant, that would have definitely helped out in that budget, so it's like, so technically you're looking at it as like, okay, well, $10,000 would have been a significant impact on that feature film. So these the filmmakers that were awarded here were Michael Carter, Jaron Wallace, and Alexa Wint were the first recipients, and their films, one of them has already been completed, and then 2 other films are in post-production right now. And they're again getting awarded their grant money of $10,000. It's just amazing to see that a lot of these films also they put back into the community, money spent on like I said, either whether it's rooms or whether it was catering to the filmmakers themselves or to the actors. It's just a lot of money was put back into the city, and then that's what you show, and someone will say like, well, $10,000, that's city money going to filmmakers here in Jacksonville. Is like, yeah, but you're giving back to the arts. And then that's another thing, case in point. But we're trying to get back to showing we care about these filmmakers in our community.
Well, definitely keep us informed as to that. So, Nyla, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Yeah, you're talking about grants. My friend here in the UK, who is a spoken poet, he's trying to make a film too, and he was asking, like, do you know anyone who could give £10,000 a sponsorship or funding? And I'm like, I know nothing, but maybe I'm going to learn from this now. Do you know people in London? Do London offer grants?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, but we do connect with people, over there because we do city producers. We talk to a lot of city producers all around the world. So
yes, with the one thing I will say, we may not know what's going on totally all around the world, but the one thing is possible is we always connect with our city producer colleagues that do 48s in different cities, and usually with the 48, most of our city producers, if not all, they have to learn the landscape, because they're not only creating a safe space for them to compete, but they're also creating community, and they're trying to learn more about the community, so that way they can kind of make sure their artists know what's all going on, so that way their artists stay right in their city, just like we're trying to keep our artists here in Jacksonville. So we may not know the answer, but we might know a friend that can can give you the answer. So it's like
all about connections.
You got 1 degree.
Yeah. Because that's part of my values or principles. It's about connecting with meaningful people to contribute to meaningful work and collaborate together. This is great. Why we do this podcast, to meet all these people. Monique, while I have you, you talk about the city office is one half, but the LOL JAX and the 48-hour film project are the other half of the work you do. And walk us through what it actually looked like to build the LOL JAX from a single sold-out screening into a 10-year institution. How did you do it?
Yeah, so I will say, I'll bring this back up in a second, but I'm for community built by community, and I think there's power in that too. So me and my husband, obviously, we're just making films, just a long time. I just always wanted to support my filmmaker husband, and I help in any way possible to make his dreams come true. And we were at a screening, and in Jacksonville, and I wanted to do one, but in a comedy sense, and kind of make my own grounds with, not just supporting my husband, but also having something that I have built. And so it was an idea, and I pitched it to my husband because he is the kind of guy that will, if you say it, he'll do it. And he's very a man of his word in that way. And so I was like, let me pitch it to him. And if he calls me crazy, then I'm crazy. And he didn't say anything. And then the next day he woke up and he's like, I thought on it and let's do it. And so I really hit the ground running with learning about what it takes to make a festival and listening to what my audience needed. What did they want to see in a festival? And I chose the route of doing it local and supporting local. So with this festival, every part of it, venue, the artists, the small businesses that I partner with, all of it represents the fabric and the people of Jacksonville. And I wanted to celebrate that because we were kind of at the time a city to where, people were looking to move. It was just like a stop in the road. And I wanted to be a final destination for a lot of artists and businesses here, because I think we can be no different than major cities like, say, London. And so year one, the community really believed in me, and I continued to listen to what they had to say. I always get feedback from the community, from the artists, and then I'm always trying to figure out ways to how can I incorporate more artists and make it, really more invested into the arts. So I started out with comedians and films. I've grown to have musicians with I've pivoted with the 48, and I've had muralists compete. And while the filmmakers are making a film, muralists are making murals in 48 hours with the same elements. So I'm always trying to look for ways to mix the arts, because everybody's in their own little community. And I figure if you get everybody in the same room together, not only can they appreciate someone else's art, but they'll start thinking outside the box of how can I make that person be a part of my team to make my endeavors more vibrant and stretch it, stretch the limits, right? And so it's grown because the purpose has changed. I wanted to do a festival that, a little bit selfish. I wanted, to have my own identity in my own film community. And then when I saw how much the filmmakers were networking and collaborating, and we were creating this ecosystem together to where your resources are right in the room with you. And while the city has amazing incentives, if you didn't know that, it starts with being in that room sometimes and hearing someone talk about those incentives, or hearing someone say, hey, I also have a way that we can work, or I want to invest in you. And so that grew to be purpose, and it became for community by community. I have people that will come, network, build their own brand, but then I also have people that are so appreciative that they're saying, hey, how can I help you, because we need this around. We feel seen and we feel our voices are heard, and that's what I try to do. I try to make a safe space so voices can be heard.
I love
That's
it.
great.
So close to my heart, isn't it, Quinn? Everything
It is.
purpose driven, because
Yes.
I'm all about purpose as well, and throughout life have followed what I loved, and it was always about helping others and community, but you get success out of following your purpose, and and everyone being committed. I love it. You've answered most of the questions I was going to ask in your answers, but there's one more. You two are co-creators and a married couple running overlapping organizations. How do you actually divide the work? What's your line and what's Adam's line? And,
So-
working with family is not the easiest.
Yeah. So I will say this. When first off, when she was coming up with this idea about LOL JAX Film Festival, which again, now that it's grown into this big, huge film festival here in Jacksonville, you know, it's gone on to its own thing where people are calling it whatever they want to call it, like the LOL or the LOL JAX or, you know, the LOL Film Festival. But
Yeah,
I'm like,
they'll come up to me and say, "Let me tell you what LOL Jax means." I'm like, "Okay."
yeah. So and for that, it's like, you know, like you can say like, oh, hey, I'm getting ready for the LOL. So people know what it is. You know, people are, you know, are aware of the event. But it's also like, you know, we're still trying to get out there, and with like conquering and dividing a lot of times now, it's like, so because of LOL Jackson, the success it had, the 48 when the city producer stepped down, people were looking at us to run the 48-hour film project. And when going back to when Monique was saying, hey, I have this idea of this comedy film festival and, you know, doing all this stuff, and what do you think? And I'm like, that's a lot of work. I don't know about, you know, I don't know if we want to do a film festival. You know, I just want to make movies. I don't want to, you know, do all that. But again, it's thought about it overnight, and I said, yeah, you know what? I think this is a great opportunity for the city to, you know, it's a local comedy film festival. It has a great touch to you know, like with a lot of things that go on in the world and all the sadness and hurt that happens. It's okay to laugh and it's okay to smile, and I think that's why the success of the LOL Film Festival, LOL JAX Film Festival is happening. So with that, the 48 came about, and then that's when it's like, all right, we're looking at us, and they're like, you guys should run it. I'm like, no. I'm like, I want to compete in it. I want to run this thing. It's like, why does everyone want to give us more work? I'm like, no,
I've hosted a week-long design conference called Recharge, and I did it like 2 years in a row, and I just like, it nearly killed me.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't know what happens behind the scenes. You know,
we make it look easy, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but if we do make it look easy,
we make it look
easy.
easy.
I will say, staying in our lane, like he definitely knows a lot of, you know, the technology side of things, and I'm just very logistics driven. So we just knew right away, this is what you're good at, this is what I'm good at, and honestly, when we're on D-Day, I barely see him because I'm running behind one way, he's running behind the other way, and that's just kind of how we make it work. And then we just keep it professional. Like, you know, if we're in the quote unquote workplace, you know, while he is my husband and I definitely respect him, you know, I'm respecting him as a business partner or a volunteer, depending on the capacity, and giving him that respect. And then at home, you know, we will decompress, we'll feedback, and then we don't talk about it. It's like, now it's time to just be us. And so it's easy when we stay in our own lane and then compartmentalize. You know, this is the workplace us, and this is, you know, home us, and this is date night us, and this is when we, you know, and we're good friends too.
I didn't know we were going to learn about marriage and family counseling. This episode is going to kick ass. So, awesome.
And for this though, it was like, well, what happened was, now when I got the job with the city, they reached out, and, you know, because they saw the impact that was going on with the city, what we were doing, and then also with working with films and, you know, all this stuff. But I knew that if I was going to get this job with the city, I knew that there was going to be probably an issue with me working at the film office, and then also I'm running film festivals. Because there's going to be that overlap of like, hey, conflict of interest. And so I actually ended up, what's great, it was like, we knew this kind of going in, so we kind of already had to talk about that. But also I had a conversation with the ethics department with the city, and I found out that, yes, you know, with LOL JAX, because we were the, you know, co-owners, you know, co-founders, that it would have to be all in Monique's name. So legally, everything got changed to Monique. So it is Monique's Film Festival. Like everything from LOL JAX now for the past couple of years has been Monique. And so, but with the 48, what we found out is actually I can still be a co-city producer with it, because that's not our company. It's not our event. We're just city producers. Right. So there's no like, again, like also I'm not conflict. On a payroll. I'm not conflict. I'm not on a payroll with the 48. It's like literally we're like more ambassadors with the 48 than we are, you know, like I said, kind of.
And the good thing with our marriage too is like, the good thing with our marriage is like, that's the love part too. I could have selfishly said, no, this is our baby, you stay. But, you know, being able to allow him to have his own lane was very important for both of us. And I'm really glad he did, because all the time we hear from people how wonderful how happy they are that he is in that office, and how wonderful partnership him and Todd Rubin, the commissioner, are able to just push forward, because it's not easy to just be one person in that office. And so now to have that partnership and be able to, preach all these opportunities that are out there, and like hearing what you say, like, I didn't even know that, like hearing all these, I didn't know that just means the word is getting out. And so I'm grateful for you doing that. And it was, I will say, the first year was very interesting when I couldn't powwow things off of him. I'm like, I can't ask him anything anymore. But to see what he's doing now, even more so, now we're definitely like in our own lanes, because now it's with the 48, sure, but with LOL, I am literally the owner, the sole decision maker. And then with him at the film and television office, that's not my world, that's not my lane, that is his. So we definitely, I think us being like that in the beginning made it so much easy to when he pivoted to this beautiful role, staying in our own lane didn't even seem like a blink, like it wasn't even a hesitation.
Gotcha.
What a great partnership in
Yeah.
every sense.
All
Work,
right,
personal.
let's take this power couple into the near segment.
Near.
Right. So we're zooming out of Jacksonville for a moment, and looking at the whole industry, conversations happening right now around production, and it's shifting fast. And AI, which is the biggest topic we have, is already reshaping pre-production, VFX, even casting and marketing. We can go on. From where you both sit in the city office and independent festival, what's the change you're actually seeing on the ground versus what you think the industry is talking about?
So there actually been 48. Yeah, you want to go talk about it? 48 just made a stance about it. Yep.
Yeah, 48 did make a stance. 48 is not allowing AI.
Generative AI.
Generative AI, exactly. Non-generative is different. So we're talking about a little bit of color correction, things like that, like really light touches that kind of enhance the human-made creative work. But when it comes to like prompt driven, they are all against it. And around the world, we got to sit in rooms and listen to a lot of city producers and a lot of filmmakers have discussions, and it is definitely a topic around the world to where there's a lot more no's than there are to yeses, because they're feeling fear of being replaced. They're fearing fear of emotions being taken out of film, and then also just the fear of what is it going to be like 10 years from now? What is that landscape? And not having any pulse on what it could be, because right now everything's moving at a millisecond. I'm on the stance personally of I need to know more about it, but I want to always have conversations on both sides to hear both sides and continue to learn. But I am definitely in support of human-made things and not replacement of humans. What about you?
Yeah.
And like for me, I think with the film office side of it too, it's like, I mean, we have taken notice. We've noticed that some people have reached out about like, filing for permits or filing for productions, then ultimately hearing that they went with an AI, commercial, or they went with they end up the production company went with that way. And then, it's kind of, devastating to hear, because, you have like a lot of crew that are, anticipating working on a set or anything like that, and you just now hear the company deciding, we're going to go with AI and just work that way. And the same with it, I think we're still trying to understand, everything here. And obviously, like the whole thing is, I think everyone understands, like, we don't want it to, have AI where it's replacing everybody, right? We want to have it to where, okay, there's tools for it. There's, with the audio enhancements or, little special effects here and there, like to where it's filmed, everything's done, everything had a crew, but there's just a lot of things that, again, we're still learning about it, but it is happening very fast too. So I know it's one of those things like, you better catch up, or, better stay on top, or you're going to be left behind.
That's what I've been sounding that clarion call for about 2 years now, because, the work I do with Nielsen TV ratings, I said I don't work, there's a consumer division too. It's like a separate company, but they, measure all of the CPG products pretty much around the world. They're like the world's largest, marketing company. Yeah. And in December, they wanted to create like the future of AI video. And so Pepper and I put together an estimate for about $50,000 for like a 2-day shoot. And the client said, we have more like 10. Like, what can you do with that? And I was like, not much.
Yeah.
But we, managed to pull off something that was fairly decent in December, but the renderings were just really kind of like old, like looked like year 2000 stock video. It was kind of cheesy, 2 months later, in January, we went back and redid this video, and some of the newer models had come out that allow you to have continuity of character, same outfits, same environments, same lighting, and we created a continuous sequence that was about a 2.5-minute video with this character Colette and her little AI agent Sam, and it was really pretty awesome. Like, to be able to create something out of thin air that if we had just come back and they gave us the 10 grand budget and we would have just had to say no, but instead we were able to pull that off. And given that it was an AI video about AI, it kind of was like a moment of time of like, here we are, my little agency here in Jacksonville is now able to do stuff that we just couldn't do before, either through cost or talent or whatever is needed. So that's sort of my side of the argument, but I think the ethics in this are really important. That's probably a whole other conversation.
Right, absolutely.
And that's where people are being vocal about it, which is good. I'm glad people are being vocal. It needs to be conversation so it can hopefully steer us and continue to make that as it grows, if it grows, as it grows, to be the pulse of it. It has to be an integrity thing. It could totally be useful if we're doing it with integrity in the right way and not trying to replace.
And I think that's where it was brought up at Lisbon when we were there. It was a whole big discussion. They brought in people with AI that do filmmaking in AI.
Successfully, we're doing filming with AI.
And then, but it had the people, filmmakers that are actually making movies with real people, having that back and forth, conversation. So that ultimately made the decision of they're going to stop using generative AI or have that as part of the contest because it's about making it with real people, like that. But it's not saying you can't use AI if you're using like an Adobe Premiere Pro or DaVinci, whatever, whatever. Yeah. So yeah. But,
not just ripping your whole video in Gemini, VO 3.1. So.
Correct.
Yeah. And there's a whole credibility. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not there yet with the use of AI. I'm getting there to get my work done. Comms, yes, it can create some graphics, but I have not even touched anything else that it can do because sometimes very skeptical, right? And also I want to stay true to my work as well. So in order to create that credibility, you have to be putting in your own judgment, your own, points and making sure it's ethical and it's sourced correct. We could go on forever. But while we were talking about geography.
There's some videos that you see on social media that are, I'm like, okay, they're funny, stuff like that. But it's like, oh, it's AI. But, I don't think it's, it's just meant to be as a joke or something like that, kind of thing. But it's like, but then it's just like, when you're talking about having Val Kilmer in a whole movie and he's no longer with us, it's like, then it's just like, there's like, all right, well, where's this going to end? Is it going to be, now we're going to see Marilyn Monroe in a whole movie?
Oh my God.
Like how is this, where are we going to go with this? So.
Wow, it's a definitely fascinating point of view. So Nyla, we went a little long in these last couple segments. This is good stuff. So,
across the pond?
Yeah, let's do the across the pond real quick.
Across the pond.
Across the pond. Perfect.
I think this is your
London,
this,
Lisbon.
Yeah,
everywhere that you've been.
All we have time is for one question.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, should we talk about London and then about London film and TV production, which I believe is booming right now? I don't know, but you will tell me. Sound stages are full. Actually, we have a lot of theatre as well, right? International productions are flocking in. What's actually driving that from what you've seen or heard? Why is this all coming to London? I thought it was expensive here.
I think it's going back to the incentives. It's going back to what companies are going to find a way to save money. in the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to. That's where when Georgia took advantage of that. It's like, hey, come to Atlanta. They had sound stages there. A lot of people were leaving LA. And not saying LA and New York are going to lose business, but it's like a lot of people have been moving because it is expensive at these places, and it's like, well, you got Georgia here, which has Atlanta, and then you got London. Like I said, again, even though it's across the pond, it's still you're saving money filming there. I know we just had Marvel that moved overseas. Spider-Man, yeah, the recent Spider-Man, that takes place in New York, but was filmed, overseas. So it's just like, it's one of those things that they end up saving money.
Kind of blows my mind.
So yeah, right. And so
you sure it wasn't because Tom Holland lived in LA?
I mean, probably Tom Holland. Maybe he's had to, something.
Gotta bring it home.
Right. But yeah, so I think it just goes to show that with a lot of that's what's been going on. Also, you got to figure out, it's like, okay, that's great that they're going to save money, but what can they do as a city to, like, all right, you don't have these numbers that they have for incentives wise, but what can you do to promote your city, to bring productions in? So you have, like, Atlanta had this show called Cobra Kai that was filming there on Netflix. Yeah, Cobra Kai, but they needed to film beach scenes for Malibu and beach scenes, but they don't have that obviously in Atlanta. It's all filmed in Atlanta. But then it's like, all right, well, then they actually reached out, and it was Todd Rubin, and they reached out to Jacksonville, and they said, hey, we can disguise Malibu, Jacksonville Beach, as Malibu, and they filmed Cobra Kai here in Jacksonville, and then so just those are the kind of things there. But I know I also get a lot of things like, why isn't Jacksonville Atlanta? And then I love this argument because it's like, well, not argument, just like I love to bring this point across. It's like, well, Atlanta has Georgia, Jacksonville has Florida. And unfortunately,
Georgia has the state incentive.
The state incentive. So I tell people, like, when you see the credits roll up, do you see an Atlanta logo? No, you see the Georgia Peach.
State of Georgia. Yeah.
State of Georgia. So, when you think of Jacksonville, it's like, well, you don't see, like, oh, Jacksonville. So that's where I'm saying it's a lot of businesses, a lot of film productions were going to Atlanta because of that film incentive. And also Savannah and Brunswick and Macon. There were a lot of places being done there. But now, a lot of people are kind of looking at other places to see what other places that they can go, like Kentucky and, Louisiana, and then, of course, London, and UK, just there's a lot of...
Canada.
A lot of
productions
I love it.
So,
yeah. And then while we don't have a state incentive, we do have city incentives.
Right, and that's where I think the city incentives is trying to compete now, obviously, with the lower budget, like low budget kind of films. But then that's also kind of a good thing that things like Obsession and, Back Rooms are kind of having success right now because those movies didn't cost much to make. But it's kind of showing you the wave of, and not taking away from, great popcorn movies, like Toy Story just had great success. And, you had the movie Michael had a great success because they spent big budgets, on these movies. But it's just great to see a lot of independent boom happening because a lot of times people want to see fresh new ideas or fresh take or fresh actors that they've never seen before. So
right.
I need to watch Scary Movie. It's on my list.
That's fun too. I love Blues Brothers. I love a good comedy.
Yeah.
It's horror too, but it's comedy. I go because it's comedy. But yes, he's like,
All right, shall we move to the
Quinn.
future?
We gotta move to the future.
Okay.
The future.
We're at the part of the show I've been saving. We call it the future segment. Not 3 to 5 years out, but 15 to 20. This is crystal ball time, so I hope you brought yours.
All right.
So 15 to 20 years from now, what does Jacksonville's film and television industry actually look like if everything you're both building right now succeeds?
All right. Well, I'm going to say this. Since I've gotten to the film office, my objective has been, you brought me, Todd Rubin. I'll say thank you for Todd Rubin for bringing me on. He's been the film commissioner there. He just celebrated 40 years, 40 years, 40,
wow,
at the Jacksonville Film and Television Office. And, a lot of times it's just been him. And a lot of people don't realize that it's just been him at the office. Now, the occasional, obviously, intern will come and go. But for him to handle, like, film productions, and everything like that, and then now for me to come in, so I'm able to handle more, more of the permits, more of the grants, more of the marketing, to where, and like social media wise, I feel social media plays a huge impact in regards to, getting the word out of what you're doing here. So for me, it's been about building within, showing what's going on in our own city with our filmmakers, with our, just a lot of the crew, a lot of the actors that are here, because a lot of them do go to Atlanta, LA, New York, Nashville, or wherever to try to make it. And they're just like, and for us, we're going to, congratulate them, say, good luck, go do your thing. But for me, selfishly, I want people to be here. I want people to stay here. And what are we going to do to make that impact? And what's great as of this past couple of years, and past 10 years, actually, whatever, it's like you've seen a lot of the local impact of local filmmakers making their movies, no matter what, being told you can't do it. Well, watch me. A lot of, music videos, a lot of commercials, a lot of things are being done in our city, especially a lot of commercials. There's a lot of commercials being done here in our city. But then you also got people that, our recent Jaguar draft pick that we got here, Travis Hunter. He's demanding that, they want to ship him, go to LA to make this movie. He goes, no, film in Jacksonville. If you want Celsius to film, the energy drink, Adidas to film it, no, you're filming here in Jacksonville. And that's allowing local crew to be involved.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's people asking, people saying, no, let's film here. And then now we have a lot of local filmmakers that are having success outside of Jacksonville, and they're saying, no, we're wanting to film here. We have a film incentive in place. Now, it's not the greatest, obviously, because, again, it's what we have, but it's good. That's a start, and it's something that it shows that if we can build on this, and now you're talking about 10 to 15 years, I honestly think that we once had Hollywood here in Jacksonville back, early in the early days with Norman Studios and everything like that. And he goes, and it was gone, went to LA. Well, my fight is I want to bring that back. I want to fight for it to come back here. And it's like, so let's take back what's ours. It was once ours. Let's take it back. And that's, for me, that's where I feel like, I honestly, when people say, yeah, you're a dreamer, you're dreaming too big, it's like, what if it doesn't work? And then I always like to say, well, what if it does? Exactly. Everyone goes to the straight negative point of it. It's like, that's not going to work. We tried this once before. It's like, well, then try again. And I think people sometimes just feel like they feel defeated when they were told no, or they told that you weren't good enough. And that's been my whole life, has been told I'm not good enough. I can't get into film school. I can't do all this stuff. And I'm just kind of just every time trying to prove people wrong, to say, I'm put in this position for a reason. I'm here for a reason. And these film festivals, me being a filmmaker, me being at the film office as the first ever film production coordinator, is not a mistake. It's like something was planned in place for me to be here and be in this position to where I'm at. And for people to believe in me, Monique to believe in me, my family, for Todd Rubin, for people, to say, hey, we believe in what you're doing here. That's the impact that I want to leave, but also I want to continue on, because we deserve to have movies being shot here. We deserve these filmmakers to be recognized. And I think with Monique for LOL JAX Film Festival, for her to say, hey, I want to recognize the talent that we have here right now, because what if they go off to do other big things, but they say, you know what, I was really appreciated in my own city of Jacksonville. I want to come back and film there. I want that impact.
Yeah. Do you want to be a small fish in a big pond, or a medium to big size fish in a smaller pond? And that was always my rationale.
Right.
Quickly, we, and Pepper will attest to this, we produced a shoot for Everbank. It was film and stills. Yeah. 12 actors, 10 people on the crew, catering, all this. It was $50,000. Everbank's big agency shopped it in LA and a couple other places, and they were coming back with quotes of like $200,000 for one day.
Whew. No way.
One day.
Wow.
I mean, what, I was like, I can't even imagine what I would spend all that money on.
Right.
It's like not like we, cheaped out on, the staff and the crew. It just happens to be that Jacksonville is a very inexpensive place to produce. Maybe you got to get some talent from Orlando or some other places. But in terms of crew, I mean, I don't feel like we missed a beat. No. Killer lighting, awesome videography. We produced this, like, what we produced in that day for that price was just astonishing. And I feel like more people should know that if you're tired of spending, $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 in a major market, getting essentially the same thing, come to Jacksonville, give it a try. You'll be surprised. It's a beautiful city. It really is. We've got the beaches, we've got downtown, we've got, Riverside, Avondale, San Marco.
I
a lot of history. And then St.
Yeah.
Augustine right in your backyard. Like,
Yeah,
it's
St.
just
Augustine is right in your backyard, and you can't really get a better location in terms of authenticity. That's
Yes.
about as good as it gets. So
And I think
that's
it's
my
just people. Yeah, no, and I'm saying I think it's just people in our city. I'll give a shout out really quick to the mayor, our mayor Donna Deegan, that actually
yeah.
believes in the arts, believes in filmmaking, and believes that hey, she wants to go all in regards to bringing productions here, even more productions, to try to see what they can do in the film in the city, there. So again, it's appreciative of the people that are in the city that believe in like the arts and believe in filmmaking, because I think that shows that they got our backs,
Yeah.
and that's so important for leadership like that to
Yeah,
happen.
I mean, we have to have, the backing of, political leadership, of financial institutions willing to invest and loan, to communicating the value and the virtues of this town and our history and our people. And that's, from my point of view, how we'll get to that place in, 15 to 20 years from now, where we are maybe like a smaller Atlanta, or,
Yeah.
a smaller London, doing really high quality productions here. And I hope you guys and all of us together are able to achieve that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Keep true to it, and you will get there. I mean, the energy you both bring, it's amazing. I love it. I've had a great time on this podcast.
we can't just thank you enough for having us here. And I like, in regards to London, like she's been to London. I've never been.
I saw Billy Elliot in London.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
I have
years
not
ago,
seen it.
and I loved it. Yeah, and London is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
was
next
just
time you
there.
come,
Yeah.
you will. Quinn and I watched the Stranger Things. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
in theater.
It's nice,
Yeah. I was
So
just there
yes.
for a week. And is it March or something like that?
Huh?
Oh yeah.
And it was
so-
the first time we have ever done a podcast together in the same room. We rented a studio, so you should. It's like a couple episodes back.
Yes, no, I saw it. I remember
Yeah.
you guys, you both geeked out, or were just like, we're here together. It's
Yeah,
finally
we're here
yeah,
for the first
yeah.
time in
I
15
loved it.
years. So
That was
it was
awesome.
very,
That was
very sweet moment.
Yeah.
So now when you come, get in touch.
Okay,
We'll
do.
Nyla's a fantastic
Market.
host, great cook. She's, part, well, I guess you're mostly Pakistani.
I'm mostly
And-
Pakistani.
Yeah,
yes.
mostly Pakistani, but
Yeah.
made us a legit Pakistani meal, and her and her sisters, and I'm just like, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah. So
It's
no,
very
we look
good.
forward to coming down, and because I plan to want to go down there to watch a Jaguar.
Yeah,
game.
for sure.
So that
For
was
sure.
one of my things. So
Drink some
Yeah.
proper tea,
Yep.
all the things.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Pepper. I would love to come actually to Jacksonville too. We should put that on the plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Put the podcast that way now.
Yeah, for real.
I know
mean,
we're
that was like-
running.
that was an
Yeah.
expensive episode.
I It was expensive.
Oh, very good. You want to take us to the wrap? Or, well, no, before we do that,
Yes.
is there anything else you wanted to share with us?
Yes.
Listen, I will say this. For anyone who's listening to a podcast and they're just kind of like, I'm not getting the resources I need, or I just, just whatever, just build and learn that your resources are right there, right beside you. But then also, just to say it again, go outside into your community and really get familiar with all that's going on, because your community expands, and when your community expands, your resources become more revealed. And that's what I've noticed in Jacksonville, and I think honestly it's true in other communities, no matter where you are around the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I love
Well
it.
said.
I love it.
I'll just leave it on that. She was great.
Oh,
No. All I say is I always use a quote from a Jacksonville poet here named Oddrod. Our losses carry wins, and I say that every time, is because every time that you're told no, every time there's door slammed in your face, or whatever obstacle you have, whether in it's regards to filmmaking here in Jacksonville, you're being told you're not good enough, you're not, you don't have the resources, then make it happen. Do it yourself, and that's Again, I think it's being told like, you can't make a great film festival. It's like, well, watch us. You can't
Yeah.
make a
Yeah.
great feature film. Well, watch this. We're gonna make a romantic comedy here called Let Me Be Corey. You
Mhm.
can't be ahead of this or do this. It's like, well, now I'm at the film office, and my job now is to make sure that people are appreciated in our city and are highlighted in a positive way. Because
Give
I think,
flowers,
because give flowers to these amazing people here in our city because they deserve it. And we have the talent here. We have the structure here in Jacksonville. We have amazing people like Pepper Lindsay, like a lot of these amazing producers here in Jacksonville. A lot of filmmakers like Sam Farmer and Franklin Rich and Carlos Smith, and just a lot of great talent that we have here that it's amazing. And let's just give them their props while they're here. So.
Oh yeah. Well, we give
Perfect.
Pepper props every day. She's
Yes.
not a full timer or anything like that, but she has been instrumental
Yes.
in over the last year, just taking our professionalism and our ability to the next level. So
Yes,
appreciate
thank
you, Pepper. She produces
Love you,
this show as
Pepper.
well. All right, Nyla, now you can take us to the wrap for real.
All right, that's a wrap for this episode of Now, Near, in the Future. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Follow us at Now, Near, in the Future, or visit nownearfuture.com.
And just to remind everyone, loljax.com, 48hourfilm.com/Jacksonville. And you can contact the City Film office and go see Let Me Be Corey wherever it is showing. This is
Yes.
exactly the kind of conversation we built this show to have. So thank you very much to the both of you for being here. And I hope you'll spread the word about your conversation and chat with us.
Absolutely.
Nyla, did you already
Yeah.
tell everyone where to find us?
Yes, I did. And if
Okay.
people loved this podcast and it stayed with you, go support some local. Submit a film, buy a film festival ticket, or just go watch. Like Quinn said, Let Me Be Corey. I will do that if I can somehow.
Yes, definitely.
Well, wonderful. As always, stay curious and keep dreaming.
And we will see you in the future.